Hello everybody, uxwbill here once again with a very familiar object in view of the camera. Many of you will no doubt know what this is, the big brown piece of junk. Well, it seems as of late there's been a contest as to who can buy the most cars or some such thing like that. I just bought a 93 Caprice. What did the Keykeeper do? Well, he bought something that was green.
I didn't do it.
But it wasn't a Jeep. Here we have the even bigger green piece of junk. This is a Chevrolet C2500. The even bigger green piece of junk. Let's see, that is the BBPOJ. That's kind of a tongue twister. This is a 93 in Silverado trim with a General Motors 6.5 liter turbo diesel engine in it. Two-wheel drive, of course, if I didn't mention that already. Has a bed liner, a hidden fifth wheel hitch in it. And let's have a look in the interior. It has an extended cab, as you can see, with the Silverado fixtures on the doors, which I take to mean basically that it's got fancy, pretentious-looking carpet on it for a truck, and it also has your power window controllers as well as power locks, but they're a little bit on the sluggish side. And then we have an up-level cluster here with a tachometer on it. And there are 290,000 miles on it, even, no less. And it looks like it's been about 99 miles since the trip odometer was last reset.
I reset that last night.
We have the fancy radio and the even fancier tape deck with the push-button style graphical equalizer, and when that's present, there are no bass and treble tone controls on the radio. Now, although this is a 93, the display remains identical to the 94 pickup truck. And then, a bit of a radical departure for us folks. This has a 5-speed manual transmission in it. Now, there were two 5-speed transmissions that I know General Motors to have used during this particular series of pickup trucks. One of them is a 5-speed without a low gear, and then there is this one, which is a 5-speed with the granny low gear and an overdrive position. This would make a very good vehicle for learning to drive a standard in, because it is practically impossible to stall this thing. It can be done, but it's very, very difficult because this thing's diesel engine produces a metric ton of torque. Well, maybe not a metric ton, but some kind of a ton anyway.
About 360 foot-pounds of torque.
And yeah, it's very easy to drive this thing. We have stock General Motors issue floor mats here. And let's see. I guess the hood release needs a little work. Pull it, he said. Oh man, you really got to pull that thing hard. Alright, well let's have a look under hood and see what we've got here. 6.5 turbo diesel. Little bit heavily worn, but still extremely serviceable.
What are you talking about? It's just getting broken in at 2 1/4.
Well, that's probably true, but there was certainly some work that had to be done to this vehicle to really get it into good fighting trim. I took a ride in it last night with the Keykeeper, and 55, 60 miles an hour, heck, it wouldn't even run 55 in overdrive pulling a hill, because the air filter, which I wish we had, the air filter in this thing was truly horrific to look at. It was so bad that the guys at the local Napa just threw it in the trash can. It was worse than the air filter in the Caprice. There's the turbocharger. You can see the exhaust-driven end of it. Probably an oil line of some kind right there. And then the intake side.
Also, I had to replace my fuel filter.
Onto the inside of the engine. The old fuel filter was so nasty that it was actually starting to, the paper pleats on it were starting to actually come apart. So, with all that stuff said, there's really only one thing left to do. Why don't you give us a startup, Keykeeper? Now, it still sounds a little interesting. There's still some work to do, but it runs well going down the road. Our radio is unfortunately a little bit of a letdown because while it plays through exactly one speaker. So that said, Keykeeper, get this bus on the road.
bus it is.
There's something flapping in the breeze back there.
Tent wrapper on the rear window behind.
Whoa, we have some window tint that's looking to escape, apparently. That's not cool. Here we go, folks, getting out onto the big road now.
Getting up to speed.
No, certainly shouldn't have. Yeah, it's running a ton better than it was last night. I love the cup holders in these trucks. That is something that GM just got so absolutely right on these things. You can take your uber big drink mug and just stuff it in there without any problem. So what do you think, Keykeeper? How many keys worth of approval do you give it?
Well, let's pass something.
I can tell you right now, folks, it's got a lot more pickup and go than my old 6.2.
80 mile an hour, right here.
He's almost got her topped out.
How do you believe a diesel can accelerate that smoothly?
Well, I don't know why.
Boy, you can smell that diesel exhaust.
So, how many keys worth of approval do you give it?
No! I give it about 4.5.
4.5. Even though you got passed by a Ford.
Yeah, well, the fuel gauge doesn't work. That's not a problem. I can fix that. And the air conditioning doesn't work either. That's not a big deal.
Yeah,
Plus, I've
like
got some electrical gremlins at play, so I can fix. It's just a matter of time. It's a project truck.
Alrighty then.
No sweat at all. Time to do some double nickels.